Hey, welcome back to another tutorial. This time we're going to do something unusual and we're going to go back over an older tutorial and replace it with this new one. The topic is ObjectGridAligner. The ObjectGridAligner has had a bunch of changes which make it super more useful, if that's a word or phrase, and so I really need to go back over it again. So I'll be replacing the old video with this one. First time this has happened, but let's get started. I'm going to hop over into Smooth POV and chuck the camera to the side, grab my dev tooltip and equip it. With any aligner video, the first thing we do is to create a cube. To do that, we're going to go to the dev tooltip, go create new 3D model box. I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit and inspect it. And then I'm going to go ahead and inspect it by selecting it with the dev tooltip, that's secondary, and then opening up the hand menu, doing open inspector. Here's the box. We're going to create a parent object on top of the box, so the box gets parented to that. To do that, we're going to click this up arrow here, it's yellow. That creates the parent object, so we're going to go to the box parent here, and then we're going to go to the attach component menu, and we're looking for ObjectGridAligner. Now this isn't uncategorized, so just scroll to O. Here we go. Attach component, uncategorized, scroll to O. L-M-N-O, ObjectGridAligner. Click that one, and it will be added. Now, ObjectGridAligner will, by default, not do pretty much anything. So to start with, go ahead and check that Auto Add Children box. And you'll notice that the one cube that we've got here is added, but that's kind of boring. So let's add some more. So we're going to select the box, go up to the top where the green square is, and just click it a bunch. I'm going to click it about 30 times or so. I'm not counting. I'm just pushing it till I get bored, basically. There we go. That'll do. And then we'll reselect the box parent, and you'll see that the ObjectGridAligner now has a reference to all of those items, and we got 34, which is quite good. Now, underneath that is a bunch of properties. I'm going to first of all do cell size, just so you can actually see the component working, because right now the cubes are just next to each other there. Let me move that slightly more out of the way. There we go. So here I'm going to change the cell size here to 1, and then copy the 1 across to here, and you'll see we have a grid. I'm going to copy the box one more time, and the reason we're going to do that is so that we have a nice even number that fills up the grid. And then I'm also going to go ahead and spawn out a color tip. You can find that in Essential Tools, and it's the black one here, color tip. And I'm going to set up some colors, so we're going to go to color picker here, we'll go red, make a few red, and then we're going to go here, go blue, and make a few blue. That's the ground I just made blue, so I'll undo that. There we go. And again, I missed the box. There we go. And one more color, I think. Let's go green. And we'll make a couple green. I'm doing this just so you can see how the object works. You'll see that the greens and reds and blues get distributed as we change the settings. So I'm going to go back to box parent here, and we're going to talk about the items per row. So items per row describes how many items are in the row of the alignment here. So we have 4 here right now. If I change items per row to, say, 5, you'll see that it's reorganized to be 5. If I go back to 6, we should get another nice square. Or 7, and then back down to 4. So that's how many items are in a row. The cell size is how much space each of these take up. We've set this to 1 right now, but we could also set this to be 1.1, and then it would add spacing in between them. So if we do this, 1.1, there we go, we've got spacing. This now resembles like a gridded floor, tiled grid floor. I'm going to leave that at 1.1 just so you can see that there is a gap between the cubes and it's clear where they start and end. So that's the items per row and the cell size. Beneath that is lerp speed. Lerp speed is super fun. If you set this to a number, we're going to just set this to 1 for now. And then you change the items per row. So we're actually going to change it down to 5. You'll see they reorder as an animation. And so if we keep this to even numbers, we'll get a rectangle floor that self-organizes itself. 12 maybe. And if I change here the cell size as well, so we can make this up to 1.5, you'll see it expands the gap between them and then back down to 1.1. Beneath that is the horizontal alignment. This controls where the grid is being originated from. So you'll see the gizmo here of the box parent is right here, and that's because we've got horizontal alignment mid. If I change this to negative, you'll see everything shifts over to the side and is now going negative away on the x-axis, and I can change it to positive, and now it's going positive on the x-axis that way. So that's how you can change where the origin point is. If you're doing lists or something that goes down, put the start point at the top and then make everything go positive, and it will all go downwards. Underneath that is the vertical alignment. That won't do anything until we change up some of the other properties. And then the two new properties, which is why we're re-recording this video, are on the row axis and column axis. These were added, I think today actually. I woke up, I was super happy to see them. So row axis, a bit like the axis aligner, will change the axis origin point and which direction it's going. So right now you can see that the rows are going in the X, so they're going this way. And the columns are going that way, Z. So what we can do here is change those up. So if I change X pos to X negative, you'll see everything shifts back to X negative over here. And then I can change the column axis to Z negative, and you'll see I'm now inside the grid. Let's move outside it. I can also make these slightly different by going into the Y space, and you'll see we now get Y like that. And then if I change this to X, you'll see it reorders that way. And I can even go back that way. We can even do both in the same direction, but that does weird stuff because it doesn't quite know what to do, so make sure to keep them differently. And you'll see that with a combination of row axis, column axis, items per row, cell size, and the horizontal and vertical alignment, that we actually get a lot of shape possibilities. Looks like the vertical alignment still isn't functional. I'm not quite sure what it's meant to be doing. You'll see here that we can still get the horizontal alignment to do pretty much what we need to, but the vertical alignment isn't doing anything. So just ignore that one for now. With that being said, that's the ObjectGridAligner for you. It's been much more upgraded now with these changes, and I think you should check it out again and try it out. I love it. As I love all aligners. If I edit things back down to 0 here, oh, not 0, I meant 1, so that there's no gap, what we now get is basically a sort of dynamic wall that can grow and change, etc. So I can say, hey, you know, I want a really long wall, or I want a slightly shorter wall that's taller, or, you know, we can go even higher than that. Just some interesting effects happen here when you play around with these values. That's all for the ObjectGridAligner. Check it out. Check out my other aligner videos. I'll link them in the description. Have fun. This one is now almost my favorite component, but that's still Axis Aligner. I will see you next time.